At least 12 killed, including 3 children, after Kremlin launches 298 drones and 69 missile strikes against neighbor. Ukraine has condemned U.S. silence after Russia carried out its largest air raid in 3 years of war, with a second straight night of massive drone and ballistic missile strikes killing at least 12 people, including 3 children. Volodymyr Zelensky called on the U.S. to speak out against the Russian attacks, after Ukrainian officials confirmed Moscow had launched 298 drones and 69 missiles in multiple waves on sites across the country. The silence of America, the silence of others in the world only encourages Putin, Ukraine's president wrote on Telegram. Every such terrorist Russian strike is reason enough for new sanctions against Russia. Russia's defense ministry said its air defenses shot down 110 Ukrainian drones overnight. The attacks came as the two countries completed their biggest prisoner swap since Moscow launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022, with 1,000 captured soldiers and civilian prisoners exchanged by each side. The scale of the latest aerial assault on Ukraine, and the number of civilian victims, prompted the EU's top diplomat, Kaja Kallas, to call for the strongest international pressure on Russia to stop this war. She said on X, "Last night's attacks again show Russia bent on more suffering and the annihilation of Ukraine. Devastating to see children among innocent victims harmed and killed. We need the strongest international pressure on Russia to stop this war." Kallas was echoed by Estonia's foreign minister, Margus Tsahkna. Another night of Russia demonstrating its ongoing aim to wipe Ukraine off the map with swarms of drones missiles, including ballistic ones. Putin continues this until the pressure becomes unbearable. "It's in our hands to make him stop," he wrote on X. Keith Kellogg, the U.S.'s special envoy for Ukraine, condemned the attacks but without any mention of Russia or Putin. The indiscriminate killing of women and children at night in their homes is a clear violation of the 1977 Geneva Peace Protocols designed to protect innocents. "These attacks are shameful. Stop the killing. Ceasefire now," he wrote on X late on Sunday. Donald Trump expressed deep unhappiness at the bombing of Ukraine, saying, "I'm not happy with Putin. I don't know what's wrong with him. What the hell happened to him? Right? He's killing a lot of people. I'm not happy about that," Trump told reporters at the airport in Morristown, New Jersey, as he prepared to return to Washington. Asked if he was considering more sanctions on Russia, Trump replied, "Absolutely." Russian strikes hit locations across Ukraine on Saturday night into Sunday, from the southern coast and east to the west. 4 people were reported dead in the western Khmelnytsky region, 4 in the Kyiv region and 1 in Mykolaiv in the south. In Markalivka village, just southwest of Kyiv, where most of a residential street was destroyed, Tetiana Yankovska, 65, told AFP, "We saw the whole street was on fire." Another retiree who survived the strikes, Olskander, 64, said he had no faith in diplomacy. "We don't need talks but weapons, a lot of weapons, to stop them, the Russians. Because Russia understands only force, nothing else," he said. Emergency services said 4 people were killed and 16 injured in the Kyiv region, including 3 children, in the massive night attack. The children were later identified as siblings, Stanislav, Roman and Tamara Martiniuk, who died when their family home in Zhytomyr region was struck. Kyiv's mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, said a student dormitory in Holosysky district was hit by a drone and one of its outside walls was on fire. Odessa, Dnipro, Mykolaiv, Sumy, Konotop, Chernihiv, Ternopil and Kharkiv were also hit, according to local media reports. The intensity and frequency of this weekend's strikes contrasted sharply with Trump's claim that Vladimir Putin was interested in peace. The attacks meant Kyiv Day, celebrated on the last Sunday in May, began with exhausted people sheltered in bunkers, metro stations and basements. With waves of drones beginning at about midnight on Saturday, accompanied by warnings of ballistic missile launches as the night wore on, a Guardian reporter in Kyiv heard 3 drones reach the center of the city, despite action by air defenses, and the sound of loud detonations. There are claims that Russia has upgraded its missiles with radar decoys and evasive tactics to make them harder to intercept by Ukraine's air defense systems. Russian authorities reported that a dozen drones flying towards Moscow had been shot down. The attack on Kyiv began with Timur Tkachenko, the head of the city's military administration, warning, "The night will not be easy," as residents tracked waves of launches on air raid warning apps. At one point, Tkachenko reported more than a dozen Russian drones were flying around the capital. Some of the drones over Kyiv and the surrounding area have already been dealt with. But the new ones are still entering the capital, he posted. Ukraine and its European allies have sought to push Moscow into signing a 30-day ceasefire as a first step to negotiating an end to the war. In a blow to their efforts, Trump this week declined to place further sanctions on Moscow for not agreeing to an immediate pause in fighting, as Kyiv had wanted. Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, wrote on Telegram, "Without pressure, nothing will change and Russia and its allies will only build up forces for such murders in Western countries. Moscow will fight as long as it has the ability to produce weapons."